WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, our website, www.wvtcradio.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. Thank you for tuning to WVTC Radio Detroit and the Community Bell Show with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner Edna Bell. Stay tuned for insightful information Detroiters will find valuable. Text a friend and tell them to watch with you for news you can use. And now, your host, Edna Bell.
Hello, everyone. It's Monday at 4 o'clock, so it must be the Community Bell Show. Thank you so much for joining us this Monday afternoon. It's kind of cloudy here in Detroit, but that's okay. We're still around. Thank you again for joining us on this Monday afternoon at 4 o'clock for the Community Bell Show. We have information for you today. We got lots and lots and lots of information for you today. As many of you may know, yesterday was the NAACP dinner here in Detroit. That dinner is one of the, not one of, but is the largest sit-down dinners in the world. Do you hear me? It's the largest in the world. And yesterday was the 67th annual Fight for Freedom Fund dinner here in the city of Detroit by the Detroit NAACP. It was really quite special because, as you know, for the last 2 years, we've all kind of been under the strange cloak of can't go out, afraid to go out, because you just don't know what's going on with people, whether they've had shots, whether they're keeping themselves safe and the people around them safe. And so you have to just watch yourself and watch the people around you. Well, yesterday was special because we had an opportunity to see people up close and personal that we had not seen in probably 2 years. The dinner did take place last year on a very, very small scale. The year before that, again, a very, very small scale. And as a matter of fact, at that dinner, my lovely daughter Alicia received an honor from the NAACP. And so we are just pleased that we were able to attend the NAACP dinner yesterday at Huntington Place. Huntington Place. We were the guests of Huntington Bank, as a matter of fact, and the guest of the faith-based community organization that helps with buying homes. And so I had a great time seeing old friends, new friends, and being able to participate in what really is one of the largest dinners in the world, and a historic dinner. There was no guest speaker this year, interestingly enough. And as you know, we've had guest speakers down through the years. This was the 67th annual NAACP dinner, so there had been all sorts of guest speakers. We've had the Clintons, President Clinton. We've had Secretary of State Clinton. We've had Barack Obama. We've had everybody to be a speaker at this dinner, and so it's always a very special place to meet and greet old friends. So I'm going to talk to you about the dinner today. I'm going to talk to you about the people at the dinner, because the co-chairs this year are names you don't always hear. So I'm going to talk to you about who those people are, where they came from, and what they do. I think that's going to be it's important for you to know who these people are, particularly one of them who happens to be the chairman of the board of Huntington Bank. Now, as you may know, Huntington Bank is building new headquarters. They are building them right on Woodward Avenue and Elizabeth Street, just a block from the Fox Theater. And it is quite a building. They are almost finished with that building. It should be open probably sometime within the next year or so. And it is a very, very nice building right on the corner of Woodward Avenue, right down the street from the Fox Theater. It's going to be a great location, and so everybody, know that Huntington Bank is a player in the city now. They're building their brand new headquarters, and when they finish building that headquarters, they're going to be bringing in people from across the state, from other physical locations and other places that are going to be in that building. That is going to be their headquarters, and so it's quite a building. And so I'm just glad that you're going to get a chance to hear and some of the people and get to know the names of the people who are running this multi-billion-dollar corporation, because that's what banks are. And if you've got money in Huntington Bank, you ought to know who's running that bank and how reflective they are of your community, and how receptive they are to your community, and how involved they are with your community and helping move this community forward. I think that's the most important part. How important are they, and how supportive are they of moving our community forward? That is the real issue. So the people you're going to hear from, one of them is the co-chair of this year's 67th annual Fight for Freedom Fund dinner, NAACP, and his name is Gary Torgo. I met Gary a few years ago, and he really is, and he's one of those guys you can call a nice guy. And they have been very much involved in helping move Detroit forward. And I'm going to talk to you about who Gary really is and how Gary got involved. And the CEO of Huntington Bank is a guy by the name of Steve Steinauer. Steve Steinauer. But Gary was there first. And I'm going to tell you what Gary has done. I'm going to read a little bit about Gary to you because it's interesting to hear about some of the people that you see, whose names you see and information you always see, and you don't really know who these people are, but you just hear their names. So let me tell you about, first of all, Gary Targo. Gary is a chairman of Huntington National Bank. And you may know that before Huntington became Huntington, it was TCF, because you'll remember that TCF was the name of the former Cobo Hall probably a couple of years ago. And once Huntington and TCF became one bank, they changed that name from TCF to Huntington. And so now the former Cobo Hall is the Huntington Center, formerly TCF Center. Huntington and TCF Financial became one. Gary Torgo is the chairman of TCF Financial and Chemical Financial. That's how we got to Huntington. Those two banks came together. But Gary Torgo was originally the chairman of Talmer, Talmer Bank. And he was the founder of something called the Sterling Group, which was a huge real estate development and investment company. So that's kind of where Gary Torgo came from. That's how he got to where he is, because he was an investor in real estate and manufacturing. So, interesting how people get involved in different things. But Gary is on the board of directors of DTE Energy, Blue Cross Blue Shield. He's an executive board member of the Business Leaders of Michigan, a trustee board of the Community Foundation of Southeast Michigan. He's a member of the Beaumont Health System Trustees Board. He's a member of the Jewish Federation of Metropolitan Detroit. And he is a Detroit Regional Chamber partnership member. And I want to go back to something he's a member of the Jewish Federation of Metropolitan Detroit. When he accepted because he did receive an award last evening, and when he was accepting his award, in his statement, something really hit me. 18 members of his family were killed in the Holocaust in World War II. Can you imagine that? 18 members of his family were killed in the Holocaust. And as we listen to that, and I'm going to digress for a minute because I'm going to Ukraine and watch what's happening in Ukraine, my prayer is that the world will not watch what's happening in Ukraine and let what happened in Germany happen in Ukraine. Fortunately, it appears that the Ukrainians are fighting like heck, and hopefully they will be victorious. But Gary Torgo had 18 members of his family killed in the gas chambers in Holocaust in World War II. And isn't it ironic there are those people who continue to say that the Holocaust never happened? Those people are very special people who need to be in a very special place for people who are as special as they are. And I'm going to leave it at that. So let me go back to Gary Targo, because Gary is a special guy. He's a good guy. He has served as a volunteer for numerous civic organizations, including the Detroit Economic Growth Corporation and the Michigan Civil Rights Commission, where he served as chairman. He's won numerous awards, graduate of Wayne State University School of Law, and is a practicing attorney, has bar credentials in the state of Michigan, and received an honorary doctorate from Alma College. That's Gary Targo. So when you hear people talk about Huntington Bank and Gary Targo, you should know that he's doing the work. He's doing a lot of things that we would want a lot of other executives to do in those positions. He's volunteering. He's providing dollars to low-income housing. He's providing his people to work in different volunteer organizations. And he himself is leading the way because he's doing the work. Sometimes you can't ask people to do things that you aren't willing to do. And so he has put in the time, put in the work, and he's doing things that he would ask his people to do, and his people are responding. Huntington Bank is going to be is a player, not going to be, but is a player in this metropolitan area, and is going to be a player, I believe, in the state and all of southeastern Michigan. But you do that and you achieve those goals by having people who are leading your organization do what they should be doing to support the communities where they work and make lots of money. Hear me? They should be doing the same thing that Gary Torgo is doing if they are working in communities where they are making lots of money, oftentimes the people in those communities. So congratulations to Gary Torgo. He received a wonderful award last night at the NAACP dinner. He received the Lifetime Achievement Award at the NAACP dinner. Gary Torgo. Gary's married, has 5 children. His family was there last night, not only his family, but his bank family. And so it was quite special to be there and to celebrate Gary Torgo as the Lifetime Achievement Award winner for the 67th annual NAACP Fight for Freedom Fund dinner. In a minute, you're going to hear we're going to play a song. And then when I come back, I'm going to tell you about some of the other people that were recipients of the award, and to tell you about the other business co-chair. Now, Gary was the business chair for the NAACP dinner. There is a labor chair of the NAACP dinner, and we're going to talk about him when we come back from this song. That guy's name, young man, gentleman, his name is Ray Curry. He too has a great story, and we're going to hear about Ray Curry when we come back after the music. So sit back, relax, listen to some music, good music. And then we're going to come back and talk to you about Ray Curry, who happens to be the other chair of the NAACP 67th Annual Fight for Freedom Fund dinner that took place last evening here in Detroit at Huntington Place.
I'm black and I'm mad. I'm black and I matter. God created me to be who I am. Oh, I'm black and I matter. Yes, I'm black and I matter. God created me to be who I am. It doesn't matter how you view me. God created me for who I am. It doesn't matter what you say about me. I'm happy with who I am. It's not about color. It's not about race. It's God's amazing grace. Red, yellow, black, or white, we are precious in His sight. Oh, I'm black, and I matter. I'm black, yes, I matter. God
stand together. That's perfect. Perfect. Because that's what the NAACP has always been about for the last long time. At least these 67 years that we've been having this dinner. Standing together, working together, fighting for each other, working to do what we know is right for everyone. And as we talk about that, I got some information before I go back to the dinner. For those of you who have not had your COVID shots, or if you have had the first couple of shots and you need the booster, you can get those. Anyone, the vaccinations are available weekly for ages 5 and up. You can visit DABO, that's Detroit Association of Black Organizations, at 12048 Grand River on Mondays and Wednesdays from 10 to 2. Or you can go to Wayne County Community College District downtown campus on Tuesdays from 10 to 2 and get your shot. Don't have to have an appointment. If you want to make one, you can. You can call a number of 313-635-5978 or 313-491-0003 to get your shot. Now, what's special about this? If you go get your shot at one of those locations on one of those dates, you will receive a $50 Visa gift card. Did you hear me? A $50 Visa gift card once you get your shot. For those of you who have not gotten your booster, the same holds true. Go to one of those locations to get your booster. You will receive a $50 gift card. So I wanted to share that with you because as we are about to get out and about, and it's the weather's going to be getting nice, and you're going to be out around other people, you want to have as much protection as you can possibly get. You may be diagnosed, you may get a positive diagnosis with COVID, but if you've had your booster, the likelihood of you dying is so much less than it would be if you have not gotten your booster. So Wayne County Community College downtown campus on Tuesdays from 10 to 2. DABO, National Detroit Association of Black Organizations. They're located at the corner of Wyoming and Grand River on Wednesdays. I believe it's Monday and Wednesday from 10 to 2. Get your shot. Save your life. Help protect other people around you. It's important. And then when you go to events like the NAACP dinner, and you are around lots of people, you won't be as concerned as you might be if you don't have that protection. So get protected. It's for you and your family. Because when you get sick, it isn't just you getting sick. Your whole family is involved in that. Your whole family gets sick too because they've got to worry about you. They got to take care of you. Let's take care of our whole family by doing that. Okay, back to the dinner. So I told you about one of the co-chairs of the dinner. That's Gary Targo from Huntington Bank. The other co-chair is a Mr. Ray Curry. Ray is the president of the International UAW. He was elected president in June of 2021, just after the first African-American president, who happened to have been Rory Gamble, had to retire because, UAW have these strict rules that as you get to a certain age, you must retire. And so Rory had to retire, and Ray Curry was elected president to replace him. His term ends June 22nd of this year because he was finishing out Rory Gamble's term. But Ray Curry has had a distinguished career with the UAW, a very distinguished career. He was elected Secretary Treasurer of the 37th Constitutional Convention in June of 2018. And he was really very instrumental in putting in place rules of ethics and oversight for UAW members, not just members, but those in office also, because those are the folks who got caught up in all the stuff. Some of them are in jail and some more probably going to jail. because they didn't follow what they were telling everyone else to follow. And so Ray was very instrumental in putting in place rules of ethics so that people don't get caught up in stuff they shouldn't get caught up in. But he was elected president of the UAW International June 28th, 2021, and that term ends in June of this year because he was finishing out Rory Gamble's term because Rory had to leave because of the age restrictions for president. But Ray Curry comes from a long history of working with unions. He was the regional director of Region 8. Now, where's Region 8, you ask? Well, Region 8 is Maryland, Tennessee, I believe it's North Carolina. So all of those areas are where he was. So he was kind of in the northern part of the South, I should say. So, Maryland, North Carolina, Tennessee, that is Region 8. That's where he hailed from and has just done some fantastic things in his tenure there and in that area. But he was elected to the 2012 convention from that area. He's worked for Chrysler, Ford, General Motors. But so he's been quite instrumental in helping move along the UAW. And in addition to that, I believe he has a degree from, let me make sure I read this right now. He sits on the national board of NAACP and many other organizations. He is very much involved in schools in the Tennessee, Alabama area. And he's just been very, very good in terms of supporting the areas where he has had the most impact. But the second Black man to be president of the UAW International is Ray Curry, and he was the other co-chair. Gary Targo for the business community, Ray Curry for the union and other community was the other co-chair. So we're just real proud that he was there. He did a great job. They both were very, very good in terms of raising money, which is what the dinner is all about. Let's make sure we understand that. This dinner is nice. It's nice to see people, but the dinner is about raising money. Raising money so that we can continue to fight the good fight. Because it takes money to fight that fight. It just does. And so Ray Curry was the other co-chair. Now, let me tell you about some of the recipients of the awards. I'm going to mention someone now that everyone will know and respect. Honorable Cynthia D. Stevens, judge of Michigan Court of Appeals. She just retired, but she received the Ida B. Wells Freedom and Justice Award. Cynthia Stevens has been working for just decades, doing the right thing, working hard for this community. And we are just so, so happy and honored with Cynthia Stevens. She's been a friend of mine for a whole lot of years, And as has she for many people, I'm sure. But Cynthia started way back when she was elected to the 36th District Court back in 1981. And so she's been a judge since 1981. Now, for those of you who are new, who don't know what 36th District Court was, that was the Detroit court, now known as a different court. But 36th District Court is where she first got elected. And she has done marvelous things ever since she's been in office. And she's just a special, very, very smart lady, but she's retired from the Michigan Court of Appeals, and she received the Freedom and Justice Award, the Ida B. Wells Freedom and Justice Award. She has been an adjunct professor and a member of the University of Detroit Law School for over 20 years. How about that? Over 20 years, and has just worked with and helped so many people throughout this community for her entire career. Someone very special, a lady for all ladies, but don't mistake that for being soft. Girlfriend is bad. She don't play, as they say. She takes care of lots of business. She calls it like she sees it, and has done a marvelous job for us. And we are just so happy to be able to say that she received the Ida B. Wells Freedom and Justice Award from the NAACP at the dinner on yesterday. Now I'm going to talk to you about somebody else who received another award yesterday. Her name is Sarah Anthony. She is serving her second term as a House of Representative in Michigan, the 68th District. Guess where that is? Lansing, Michigan. Young black girl. Great Expectations Award, which means that we're expecting a whole lot from Honorable Sarah Anthony. But she represents the 68th District, House District in Michigan, and that happens to be Lansing. Sarah Anthony. She serves as the vice chair of the Progressive Women's Caucus and the first vice chair of the Michigan Legislative Black Caucus. Sarah Anthony, remember that name? She received the Great Expectations Award, and that's because we're expecting a whole lot from Sarah Anthony, Michigan State Representative for the 68th District out of Lansing. Now, this last young man who also received the Great Expectations Award, this is really going to be interesting. He is the president of the Amazon Labor Union. Now, you say, what do you mean Amazon Labor Union? Yes, he is the president of the first Amazon Labor Union. His name is Christian Smalls. He spoke last night and did just one heck of a job when he spoke last night. But Christian Smalls is a former Amazon management assistant, but he got fired back in March of 2020 because he was trying to organize employees to walk out because Amazon, he felt, was not doing what they should have done to protect employees during the COVID-19 first era. So he said, okay, everybody, we need to be protected as warehouse workers from infection. And he didn't feel that Amazon was doing enough to do that. And so he organized a walkout. And they walked out. And so what happened? He got fired. Well, once they fired him, he was free to do what he needed to do to hopefully try to protect himself and others. And so he's founded what's called the Congress of Essential Workers. The Congress of Essential Workers. You know how we heard about how essential people were, how essential restaurant people were, how essential cashiers were, how essential doctors and nurses and orderlies and all those folk who work face-to-face with people were. Well, he founded the Congress of Essential Workers, and it is a collaborative network of workers and allies fighting for the elimination of billionaires, for wealth redistribution, and to protect the working class from exploitative CEOs. He's sometimes better known by his Twitter handle of Shut Down Amazon. But let me tell you a little bit about Christian Smalls. He was an Amazon worker who got fired because he was trying to organize people to walk out because he did not feel that Amazon was doing what they should do as it relates to workers during COVID back in 2020. He led the walkout and on Staten Island, New York. The union was formed in 2021 in April. That's just last year, just a year ago. He formed the union. He became the president. And the union was formed at Staten Island, JFK, which stands for John Fitzgerald Kennedy 8. And I'm assuming that was near the airport. And they had a big facility near that airport. But Christian Smalls decided that, okay, you fired me for trying to help people out, so I'm going to form a union. He formed the union. They met. They filed with the NLRB, which is the National Labor Relations Board, because what you have when you want to form a union, you have to file with them. They have to allow you to go after, the organization or the company to form that union. And so he did the paperwork, filed it with the NLRB last October. But as big companies will sometimes do, they got lots of lawyers working for them, so they delayed. And what he says, did all sorts of schemes so that they would not be able to get enough signatures for an election. So the first time they got the signatures, they got them real quick. Amazon did something and they had to go get some more signatures. Then they filed again, and then it came up again. Then they had to go get some more signatures. And as fast as Amazon would say you need some more, they go get some more signatures. So they got these signatures, and they finally got the signatures they needed. But then Amazon continued to bring up other issues, and so they had to withdraw their petition for a union vote. But that was only temporary, because what Amazon did, which was maybe not as smart, they went and fired the people who had signed to start the union. So once they fired those people, that just gave more fuel to the fire for them to go out and try to get others involved. It's the company's sacrificial employment model, is what he calls it. A vast mechanism that hires, monitors, disciplines, and fires. And it's with complete regard for the health of workers that made these people decide they wanted to have a union. And so Christian Smalls is the one who started it, because he got fired. They succeeded in filing not one, but 2 election petitions. So once they filed, they really kept messing with them. They decided, okay, we're gonna file another one. So they filed 2 petitions, and they had everything they needed to do. They thought it was impossible, but they won that first election for what they're calling JFK 8. And now they're running the next election campaign, which is called LDJ 5. I don't know what those letters stand for, but I'm sure it's a location of an Amazon warehouse someplace. And they're starting to bargain right now with the unionized workers of JFK 8, which is the first place they organize. And they're launching a nationwide organizing and training session to help people learn how to do what they did. Sometimes firing people isn't necessarily the answer. You don't necessarily get the result you're looking for when you fire them, because they fired Mr. Smalls. And lo and behold, he decided, okay, you're going to fire me for doing what I thought was right. I'll go sit down and talk to me. You're going to fire me. They fired him. He is now the president of the Amazon Labor Union. How about that? He is the president of the Amazon Labor Union. He went out and did the work, explained to people what he felt was the right thing that should have been done, explained to people about things that were not done. And they agreed with him. And it's really unprecedented for them to be able to win a union vote on first time out. The first time out, they won the union vote. And now they're going after another location, because, of course, you have to do it location by location. So they're doing another location, and they're organizing and talking and campaigning right now for the second location. But they have done that first location. It is called the Amazon Labor Union. The Amazon Labor Union, and it's under the guise of the Congress of Essential Workers, which says to me, if you're an essential worker and you're not in a union, Mr. Christian Smalls may be coming to see you in your organization, see your group. But I think that is pretty spectacular. He spoke last night, and so he won the Great Expectations Award. He's a young man. He won the other Great Expectations Award. Mr. Christian Smalls, the president of the Amazon labor union. And I think that's great. But let me just add a little piece, and then this is my own commentary. One of the things he said last night when he was speaking was that 80% of the employees at Amazon are women. So my first thought, well, if 80% of them are women, why isn't a woman standing up there in your spot? Why isn't there a woman president? Because that means 20% are men, so 20% are running 80%. I got a problem with that, but okay, I'm going to leave it alone for now and see how you represent those 80% of the women that are Amazon employees in your union. So I just think, Mr. Smalls, I congratulate you. I think that's fantastic. Sometimes, you can't just do people any kind of way. You just can't do that. And evidently, the workers at Amazon felt they were being done any old kind of way, and their lives were not being considered. So there it is. They did what they needed to do, and my, they are there. They are there. I'm telling you. It's quite incredible. It is quite incredible. Quite incredible. But and I have a caller who wanted to know about 36th District Court. 36th District Court, I misspoke myself, is still there. It was Recorder's Court that they were trying to get rid of because we had so many black judges on Recorder's Court. Well, they messed up because they gave us 36th District Court and we still have as many judges. But yeah, 36th District Court is still there. It is still there. But they were trying to get rid of the court because we had more black judges in that court than anywhere in the country. But I just wanted to share with you that information about the NAACP dinner last evening. It really was a very special event. Again, we had a chance to see people we had not seen in a long, long time. Just a fellowship with a lot of the people that you used to see and don't see as much. The Reverend Wendell Anthony, who is the president of the Detroit branch NAACP, does a simply fantastic job with that organization. If you're not a member, you ought to be a member. You ought to be a member. It does the work. It does the work, and it does the work well. The governor was there and spoke. Did a great job. The governor was there. The mayor was there. The county executive spoke. Our two state senators, Senator Gary Peters and Senator Debbie Stabenow, were there. So it was a great event, a great night. Our Congresswoman Brenda Lawrence was there. She has done a great, great job. And as most of you know, the Honorable Brenda Lawrence is retiring, and that seat that she held in the 13th, well, it was 14th, now it's 13th, based on the census tract, is being challenged. So there are lots of folks running for that seat. And I'm going to be real easy with you. That seat ought to be a black seat. We must have at least one black representative in Congress. And it should be someone representing the city of Detroit. There are 11 people running in that seat. Do you hear me when I say there are 11 people? We've got to be smarter than that. We've got to be smarter than that. We've got to come together, folk, and make sure that that seat is one that represents us and our interests. And we have at least one in Michigan that will do that. I'll talk about that a little bit more another time. I just leave you with that. And now I leave you with my quote again from Dr. Martin Luther King. Not everyone can be famous, but everyone can be great. It simply takes a heart and a soul of love and support and hard work to be great. So go out and be great, everybody, this week. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next Monday at 4 o'clock on the Community Bell Show. We'll have much more information for you on that show. I look forward to seeing you. And next Monday is the Monday after Mother's Day, everybody. Sunday is Mother's Day. Don't forget. I know it came fast, but Sunday is Mother's Day. Get ready. Take care of your mothers. It's nothing like a mother, I'm telling you. So, happy Mother's Day to all of my friends who are mothers, and all of those who are mothers, that would be mothers, that have been mothers, that have acted like mothers, and mothers are the backbone of this world. Have a great week. We'll see you next week, the Monday after Mother's Day. Always good to be with you. See you next Monday, 4 o'clock, Community Bell Show. Have a great week.
Thank you for listening to Community Bell with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner, Edna Bell. This broadcast was brought to you by WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, our website, www.wvtcradio.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. If you've enjoyed this broadcast, tell a friend to tune in. We'll see you next Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern to the Community Bell Show, right here on WVTC Radio Detroit. You're listening to WVTC Gospel Radio Detroit, and we're flowing in